Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Charlotte from That Girl Cooks Healthy. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super delicious guava cheesecake. It's vegan friendly and it also has a biscuit base that is made from almond flour, so it is grain free. I cannot wait to share this recipe with you guys, and most importantly I want you to make it, so let's get to it. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need some almond flour. Make sure you're using almond flour, not almond meal. That's really important. You need some vegan cream cheese, some vegan white chocolate. I have 2 lots of guava, so I have a small amount of guava for the topping, and then you need some guava for the filling. I also have 2 lots of powdered sugar as well, some vegan butter that's melted, some agar. That's just a vegan alternative to gelatin, so it's really important that you use that for the recipe, and that's just going to help with setting the cheesecake filling. Some coconut milk, and I also have some water as well. So the first thing we need to do is to prepare the base. So I'm adding some almond flour to a bowl, and then I'm going to add the powdered sugar followed by the melted vegan butter. Then I'm just going to take my hands, or in this case I'm going to use one hand to break that down into a crumb type texture. You don't have to use your hands if you don't want to. You can use a pastry cutter, that does the job as well, but I really think it's a lot easier and convenient just to use your hands or a hand to just crumb it down into a crumb type of texture really. So that's what you want to do, and then I'll show you what you need to do next. So this is the texture that you're looking for. I'm just showing you guys why I'm turning it towards the camera so you guys can see that it's a crumb texture. So that's the texture you need. So I'm then just going to remove that bowl and show you what you need to do next. So for this recipe you're going to need either a spring foam pan or a removable pan that the bottom of the pan is removable. As you can see, I've lined and greased the sides and the bottom of my pan. So the next thing we need to do is to pour the crumbs that we made, and that is going to serve as the base for our cheesecake. So I'm just using a spoon to scoop that all in, and once I've done that I'm just going to use a smaller spoon to smooth it out. So I use the back of a spoon to smooth out those crumbs, and while I'm doing that as well I'm just going to rotate the pan as well. So I'm going to rotate the pan at the same time as pressing down using the back of the spoon, and that's going to smooth out the top of the cheesecake base. So now that the base is nice and smooth, I'm just going to bake it in the oven until it's slightly brown. So this is what it looks like once it's been baked, and you can see that it's slightly brown, and that's pretty much how it needs to look before we move on to making the filling. So the first thing we need to do is to melt that vegan white chocolate. So I'm going to create a makeshift double boiler. So I have a pot and I just added a heat-proof bowl on top of the pot that's already been boiling. And then I'm just going to transfer that vegan chocolate into my heat-proof bowl, sorry, and you just want to leave it now until it completely melts. Do not stir it, just don't do anything to it or else you'll ruin it, and just leave it to melt. So this is what the white chocolate looks like once it's melted. I'm just going to grab a spoon just to determine that all of the pieces are completely melted. As you can see, I'm not stirring it. I don't want to do anything like that because you will ruin the chocolate. Trust me, I've done this before. You will ruin the chocolate if you keep stirring it. Just allow it to melt, and then we're going to put it to a side, ready to use. So in a separate bowl, we're going to add our vegan cream cheese, and I'm going to use a hand whisk just to whisk that until it's nice and smooth. So now that the vegan cheese is nice and smooth, I'm going to add my coconut milk followed by powdered sugar, and I'm just going to continue to mix those two ingredients together until it's nice and smooth once again. And now I'm going to add my vegan white chocolate. I'm just going to mix that in again. As I said before, I'm using a hand mixer. You don't really need to use an electric whisk or anything like that for this. It can all be done by hand. So just carefully just scoop that into the bowl and mix it in, and you're going to get a really nice velvety smooth texture to this mixture. So now I'm going to add my pureed guava. So you're going to notice when you add the guava that when you mix it in, the color of the filling is going to be an off-white color now. So it's perfectly normal. Don't be alarmed. It's pretty much, that's how it is when you add a color to a white, that it's going to have more of an off color. It's not going to be completely white anymore, and that's normal. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that, that it's a normal thing to happen. It's going to start off quite red, and then you're going to get the true colors going to come through. So I'm going to show you how to use the agar and how to add it to the filling. So I'm just going to add some warm water to the agar, and I'm just going to mix it a few times, and then I'm just going to get a few tablespoons of the mixture that we've already prepared, and I'm going to add that to the agar mixture, and that's going to make it a lot easier when it comes to adding all of that to the big batch of filling that we've prepared. So now I'm just going to show you guys how to add the agar. It's really simple. It's just a case of pouring that agar mixture in to the filling that we've already prepared, and you just want to mix it in and make sure that you've thoroughly mixed it in, because this is going to help with setting our cheesecake. Because it's a no-bake recipe as well, we want to make sure that we have some type of stabilizer in it, and my vegan choice of stabilizer is agar. It's really easy to work with, and it's a great alternative to gelatin as well. So just want to mix that in, and then we're going to pour that onto the base. So now we're just going to pour that cheesecake filling on top of the base that we baked earlier. So you just want to be really careful that you don't spill any of that, and make sure it goes all on top of that cheesecake base. and just using a spoon as well, just to guide that to make sure that it all goes on there and there's no overspill. Once you've done that as well, you also want to give the pan a gentle tap to the side as well. That's going to help to level out the cheesecake filling, so you don't have to use the back of a spatula or spoon. You'll see that I'll do a little quick wiggle and just tap it to make sure that it's completely level. So now we're just going to get the guava puree and we're just going to put it at the top. I put it in the center, but you can also go around the edges of the cheesecake if you want to. It's really just a matter of what you prefer to do. And I'm just going to get a knife and I'm just going to make some swirls just to create that marble effect. You don't want to go too deep when you're doing this. Just want to go in by maybe about 1/2 inch with using a blunt knife. And that's just going to create some really nice swirls. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Mine come out different each time when I make this cheesecake. Sometimes it looks more that it has more of the guava puree on top, and other times it's marbled in quite a bit. So just really go for it really in terms of how you do this. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it in the freezer overnight. So you want to make sure that at least for 8 to 10 hours, but preferably overnight, that you want to freeze it because it's a no-bake cheesecake. So you want to freeze it for as long as possible to allow it to set. So this is what the cheesecake looks like the next day. So I'm going to show you guys how I remove it. So I just get my hand, because it's a removable base, and I'm just going to push upwards, and I'm just going to really push to the point that all of my hand goes pretty much into the pan, and then I'm just going to release it that way. It's a really easy way to do it that way. And I'm just going to remove the parchment paper what's been around the sides to support the cheesecake as well. I'm going to show you how I do that as well on camera, and it's really easy. You might want to leave it for about 5 minutes once you remove it from the freezer, so it gives it enough give that it releases quite easily. That's pretty much what I did, and I'm just slowly removing the parchment paper because I don't want it to stick and pull too much. Just do it slowly, and that's pretty much it really. That's your cheesecake ready to be served and eaten. Also, one more thing, you want to make sure that you leave any leftovers in the freezer. Don't put it in the refrigerator or on the countertop. So that's it guys, that's how you make your guava cheesecake. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on the other side.